1-870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. That's Sunseri, Albert Nicaud. All 601-870. Talk and text line at 601-870. We'll be on until 10 o'clock today. Good morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug, what's up?
Pelicans this morning. Or this afternoon.
Pelicans.
You going to the game?
I'm not. No,
I'm actually going to see football in Lacombe, but right now I'm
doing radio
and head over there and he's got the Masters on. He's going to have the Pelicans on, and we'll be keeping track of all the NBA action. It's exciting, man. It really is exciting. You're looking at in the West, NBA.
We got the Thunder, Timberwolves,
and Nuggets 1, 2, 3, all with 56 wins.
So, the good news is the Phoenix Suns.
The Phoenix Suns at number 7 played the Timberwolves.
Who need to win?
The Timberwolves play for.
We're not,
they got something to play for. So that's a good thing, because if the Pelicans should happen to lose today and the Suns lose, maintain the 6th seed and don't have to do the play-in. A lot of people So real quickly, 10, right? It used to be the top 18, and one would play 8-2 and play 7 and so on. They started this play-in for a couple years ago.
So basically, 1 through 6 are automatically in. Now the Pelicans hold the 6th. So if it ended at this moment, not ended today, but it ended at this moment, it would be the number. They wouldn't have to do any games to get
7 or 8 feet.
So 7 played
8. Okay. So as it stands right now, the Phoenix Suns would play the Lakers.
The winner of that game comes the 7th seed and the playoffs. That they one and done. The loser waits around for 9 to 10. The loser of that game, the winner of that game,
then has to go play
the loser of the first game
to see who gets into the final spot.
So all that nonsense and games, etc. They want to be fresh for the playoffs. They want to win, right? And Minnesota being tied with the Nuggets, all have 56 wins, got a lot to play for, and they're very good.
Well, I was watching the Sacramento Suns game the other night, and if the Suns lost the game to the Pelicans, would have locked up the 6th seed, and the Sacramento was up by 12 points in the fourth quarter and lost the lead. And they lost in the literally last second. So it will be, and I think the biggest difference with the Pelicans in this last run is Zion finally, $240 million later, has exerted himself on defense, and he is becoming a force on defense, and basically playing both sides of the floor, because he only had 22 points the other night. But his defense was a big difference in the game against Golden State.
Well, and I think what he's, some guys are A-plus
guys, right? I'm the top dog.
He was playing that role, but wasn't playing that game. And so he has since, when everybody got on him about his weight, about him missing games and everything else, I think it lit something in him. And offensively, he's shooting the ball from the free throw line. He's going to the right and, dunking from the right side. He's doing things offensively. His assists have increased over the course of the season. So he's getting the triple team wall underneath and kicking it out to Trey and kicking it out to, Jose and whoever's out there shooting that three. And look, the strategy is going to be we've got to stop Zion. So we're going to stop Zion, and we're going to make everybody else beat, right? Trey's got to make that three. CJ's got to make it. In the last 4 or 5 games, they have been, which I think has made a big difference. They really kind of, a nice way to put this. Yeah, I'm saying they really the Pelicans when they played San Antonio the other night without Zion. I mean, he hurt his finger. You tape your finger up and you play. But I think they figured they could beat that team without Zion and BI, and they ended up losing that game. That being the case, they'd be playing for a 5 seed and have the playoffs locked up. And the team won 21 games all year. So it's just amazing how tight it is, though. If you look at the numbers, Clippers and the Mavericks are 1 game apart at 4 and 5. Pelicans are 49, Suns 48, Lakers 46, Kings 45, Warriors 45. So everybody's kind of jockeying for position. Those top 10 teams will be in the playoffs or the play-in. The Rockets only have 40 wins. They're the 11th seed. They can't catch up. But everybody else, really has something to play for. And nothing's better than watching NBA games when somebody has something to play for. That's when these ultra talented guys lay it on the court and just, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Today will be a playoff atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Every possession will be contested. The fans will be on their feet most every possession, or probably half the game. Now, and you're right. I remember going to the first playoff game for the then Hornets, the first year against the Philadelphia 76ers, now Allen Iverson. And I would have to say that atmosphere was similar to like the atmosphere of going to a heavyweight boxing match, where we were on our feet for 2.5 hours. Every possession was contested. The defense is turned up a notch, and it's just a different atmosphere than regular, maybe in the regular season. And I think today's going to be like that, especially with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. He's not a crowd favorite.
And that's the downside of playing the Lakers.
As much as I love Jonas Valanciunas, he's a great player.
He's got heavy feet. And so when you're playing an Anthony Davis or an Anton or an Embiid or an athletic center, not a big Lopez type of center, but a quick athletic center, they struggle, he struggled, which means Larry Nance, who's a little bit undersized, not horribly, he makes up with it with his long arms, but he's a better defender, but he's not going to give you the offensive production that Jonas will. So you got to, Willie Green's got to decide, hey, do I play Larry Nance on the defensive side, or do I play Jonas to knock in a 20 points and rebound? So we'll see. We'll see.
So we're I think it'll be one of those atmospheres that's going to be a lot of fun to be in. I'm actually going if it's going to sort of take it all in. And, I think
here's the thing that scares me. Brandon Ingram coming back.
Right.
I know that sounds silly, as great of a player he is, but he kind of plays at the free throw line, and that makes that little 15, 20 footer. And CJ has stepped up. Trey has stepped up. They've filled that spot. And now all of a sudden you're going to try to introduce, and I said this a long time ago, that'll be the genius of Willie Green if he can do it. How do you get all those guys on the court at the same time? Do you have enough basketball, right? Because, when Zion's playing the point, he's at the top of the key trying to get to the basket or making a dish, and then where does Brandon Ingram play then? You know, and so it's just they've done very well without him, and I hate to say that, and he's a great player, but it's hard to put all those great players in there because this would be our team for a while, especially with Gimp out, so. It's just going to be interesting. I hope he stays on the bench and then they can work it through for the playoff.
Well, one thing about BI is he sort of, in order for him to work, he sort of, I want to say, you get it to him and he works one-on-one.
Yeah.
It's less of a open person. Where I think the last few games they've been whipping like inside to Zion, and if they collapse to Zion, then the guys who are outside were open, and a three-point line. Herb Jones hit quite a few three-pointers.
Right.
So that's going to change that dynamics because Zion needs the ball to work. He's more of a one-on-one player, and how would that affect what they were doing before as far as just hitting open man, collapsing Zion, and then getting it back out, inside, outside.
And they've clearly figured that out. They figured it out.
And like I said, Trey Tipton and CJ's 30 points a game in the last 6 games. So he's improved right now, and you just almost hate to have someone introduce star player to kind of interrupt that.
I think part of the reason why the Pelicans' 3-point shots percentage has increased is because when they do collapse, Zion kicks it out. It's just open three. But it'll be and the uncertainty of being anywhere from an 8 seed to a 6 seed, you have a lot to play for.
Oh yeah.
And so, is the Suns game tonight, or is it?
All 3 games are at 2:30.
So we're all going to be scoreboard watching also.
Yeah. The Suns play, the Warriors play, and the Pelicans and the Lakers play. So it's all. I don't know why the NBA did that, but all 3 of them are at 2:30 today.
Well, it's much like watching the Saints in Week 17. You scoreboard watching Carolina or Atlanta, whether you get the second seed. Back in the old days.
Yeah.
Whether they would get a bye or what have you, or get in the playoffs. And so we'll be definitely being scoreboard watching. And I think also too the high profile people in Louisiana or New Orleans come out for the Lakers. So you'll probably be able to get to see them because of the Laker mystique, for better or for worse. And I think also too, it's always fun to listen to the crowd boo LeBron every time he gets the ball.
Exactly.
So, he's deserving of a boo.
Yeah.
Not a big.
No, I know he's great. He's probably the best second. He's in the top 5 that's ever played. It's not a.
No question. You put Cleveland back
when you win a championship at Cleveland, you're one of the top 5 players of all time. No question.
Not a but not a favorite.
No, I'm not. He's gonna. I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah. But
just all his politics.
And also too, the Saints draft in a couple of weeks. WWL is going to have a bunch of draft shows coming up. Looks like the Saints will be
up on the offensive
line again.
Yeah.
And so
we have to though. Yeah. We have to. Let me tell you, I don't know if there was a way for them to do it through free agency. I guess they don't have the money. But you just really have to find 1 or 2 diamonds in the market that play that position. And again, we get back to the whole Derek Carr, right? Everybody's got this thing about Derek Carr. You hear him from played with backup running backs. If you remember, Camaro was out for how many games. Backup wide receivers. With backup offensive linemen. He separated his shoulder twice and didn't miss a game. You know, and the guy, if you give him that extra second that a good, healthy first-string offensive NFL line will give you, we're going places. We're a field goal away from winning the
ugly division. But
you know, I like the guy. He's a class act. He's been in the league a long time.
Give him a chance with healthy people around him.
I will say one thing that the Saints is turning out to be prophetic is when he signed the $35 million contract, it seemed like way over market value. But as he's progressing through this contract, $35 million is more market value or low market value.
Exactly.
Quarterbacks. So by the end, so his contract is actually getting better because his raises are incremental, but the market for quarterbacks are increasing exponentially. So by the time of his end of his contract, he'll probably be in the bottom, the bottom 1/3 of quarterbacks as far as their pay is concerned. So that's some foresight that I guess we didn't have when we signed when he was signed, but $35 million now is about average market value for and by the end of the contract.
Right. So like I said, the guy, I'm a $50 million a year guy, $35 million a year guy. It's the quarterback's fault. You win, they praise you. You lose, it's your fault. And so that comes with the territory. I get it. But I think the Saints fans have been, way too hard on this guy. He's got talent. I think he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think if he's the lower end of that, but I think if you have healthy people around him, that loser Michael Thomas, and I just get rid of that attitude. And so many guys were injured in and out, all timing when you rookies, 1-year players, and you're trying to, they cut the route off a little too soon, or they don't read the quarterback, properly, and it looks like the quarterback's fault when you get to it. So just give him a chance. I like if we can get a lineman or two to really bolster up that offensive line, everybody becomes better.
There you go. All right. And we're going to the official spiritual advisor for all things legal, Father Tony Rigoli of St. Jude, Our Lady Guadalupe Church. He's got a little announcement he wants to make, and he usually appears about every year before COVID, and he'll give us he's going to tell us about a concert he's having, and after that we'll talk about the tornadoes and the bad weather and how to deal with that.
Yep.
That's Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back.
Good vibration, summer weather, we're back together.
WWL, the Big 870 AM and 105.3.
That's Spring Vacation by the Beach Boys.
On the free Odyssey app.
Deep cut.
I traded in the sheriff's badge for the microphone so I could affect change in a different way. This is no longer my goal.
So we're gonna come back to the Godfather love theme, which is like the very nice strings, and then we'll close it out with the Angelina little
head on. Look at yourself as a member of the common sense.
Yeah, we can do that.
Join me weekdays.
Real quick, I did want to double check. Usually in the past, when we've had a guest on, when I upload the podcast, I do the first hour, the second hour, and then I also do the guest individually. Do you want me to do that for this one, or is it not needed? Or
that business lose money?
Okay.
If you answered yes, your business may qualify for
I think I would have tried to go if it didn't work. I think if I wasn't already working and there wasn't an LSU game today, I think I would get it.
2024 to be eligible. Don't trust your claim to just anyone.
I mean, so like the last game. I mean, you can make the argument. I don't think it is. But you can make the argument this could very well be the last regular season game of your career. I doubt it, but you can make the argument.
be with you through the entire process. Even if you've already filed your claim and have audit questions or concerns, we're here to help when other companies can't. Don't get caught unprepared. Give us a call at 985-722-1040 or go online, gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX, taxresolution.com. Finding the perfect way to say, "Will you marry me?" Hard. Finding a diamond engagement ring that will leave her speechless? Easy.
You want the Angelina part or the Zoom part?
Our dedicated staff will help you choose an engagement
That's what I was
ring
thinking,
that
yeah.
is truly one of a kind, made with ethically sourced natural diamonds. Just listen to this review from Heath.
All right, I got it.
Enough good things about open heart. Anthony made our experience picking an engagement ring so perfect and special without any pressure or stress at all. And
I will say, I don't know how the playoff. So if the Pels do get into the playoff game, they have to play Tuesday, I guess. How does that?
That surprises everyone.
When does the actual playoff start? Is that like sometime next? Like, is that in a couple weeks or like when is that?
How is that even possible?
Next weekend? Okay.
Because we buy our diamonds right from the source. Ta-ta, middleman. There's a great work of art in
I was gonna say, I want to say Thursday.
Are you ready to ditch the season and take your backyard back?
I don't know. You know, if the conversation next week might be, because by next Sunday we'll know whether the Pels are a play-in team or not. We'll know, when and who they're playing. The question at that point: how do they look in a 7-game series against insert opponent?
With over 55 years experience.
So I'm right there with you. I like him against Oklahoma and the Timberwolves. I don't like him against the Nuggets. If Jamal Murray's out, we have a chance to beat any of those three. But if Jamal Murray's in, I think we lose to the Nuggets.
From the front lines to
If anything, I actually like that. Regardless of any of those teams, we'd have one. We'd have one more away. I like that.
Extraordinary inside at the National World War II Museum. Visit nationalwwqmuseum.org.
So this break, do you want to? So we'll talk for like you said, 7 games or so, and then we'll take a break, take our 40 break, and then come back and dive into some tornado stuff.
You want the book? You go to California Psychics, home of free spirit and open mind. We know better than anyone what makes a good medium. That's why
Are you going? Is Michelle joining you for the game today, or?
it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Ooh, that's I've never gone to you.
Psychics.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap or think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is come to my office. I will send you a timeshare exit information.
Yeah, that's exactly the biggest things that you need to knock out your checklist. That's the top priority.
800-790-1400. 800-790.
I got you. Come back.
All things legal. Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. And that's now on the Open Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back.
Our Lady of Guadalupe is the church in the French Quarter is approaching its 200th anniversary. It's the oldest standing church in New Orleans. It was originally constructed just with the yellow fever.
Right.
And we got
Father Tony, before we jump in, I got a comment on the bumper music. I love how we play with Angelina. How wonderful is that?
I love it. My parents were born in Sicily, so I love it.
That's and we're going to start off with the Godfather theme, but we're going to put that on the back.
Okay.
We got Father Tony now. Father Tony's the official spiritual advisor, and we had heard from him for a year.
It's going to be back.
And how's the church doing?
Good, real good. We had great Easter, and we want to continue the Easter spirit and lift people up by the concert that we have on next Sunday at April 21st at it's just 15 minutes before the 6 o'clock mass. You might say 15-minute concert, but they're going to sing also at the mass. They're called the Shades of Praise, and they're under the direction of many people know White and Connie Church. They've been all over the place, and they play at all sorts of concerts and festivals, and so we're going to be with the group at 15 minutes before the 6 o'clock mass on next Sunday, and it's really to just kind of once again highlight what our church is all about. It's a church filled with music, and the people. It's a very diverse community. People really come together, and I just wanted everybody to know in the city that we're going to have that concert. They're all in free, and hopefully many of you might come out.
I don't want to presuppose what God would think. I think when he had churches in mind, he had churches where you had people from different backgrounds.
Oh, wow.
Different backgrounds.
For sure.
And I think what the intention is, I mean, what a real church yours does, is, unity in Christ and the commonality in Christ transcends any small differences that we have, and we all realize that, our commonality in that transcends anything we do. Your church reflects that.
Oh, it does. It really does. It's to me, it looks, when you look out, it looks like to me what heaven's going to be like. We're with everybody of different races and ethnic groups and even religions. We're there to praise God, and I just think we just want to highlight it by inviting people to come. Every Sunday we have our jazz masses, which are always full, but it's basically to give the glory to God. That's what it's all about.
Your church has a history of having some of the right musicians.
Oh my God.
Tell us about some of the musicians who rolled through your church.
Well, Aaron Neptune, one, and Aaron and Toby moved to upstate New York. They would be there all the time, and whenever he was in town. And also, as I say, his niece, Charmaine, Damo's family, some of them come to the church. But there's been others that have played. We used to have our midnight, believe it or not, a midnight mass throughout the year on midnight every Saturday or every Sunday, and all of the different musicians from the quarters used to come in. That discontinued a number of years ago, but it's known for its music, its jazz, and it's very uplifting, and it really goes together with the French Quarter. I feel at this point it is natural.
And I don't want to compare you to other priests, but if you're a parent, your kid complains about going to mass. You got to tell them you're going to be rocking and rolling. You're going to be very, very engaged throughout the entire service.
No, that's true. I think it touches everybody. I think part of it is to see a joy inside, and everybody's smiling and everybody's greeting each other. And I think that's what people need more than ever, because so often we're isolated. Even though we live around a lot of people, so many people suffer from isolation and loneliness. And I think we feel that they're part of something. To me, that's what it's all about.
And I'll talk a little bit about where we are. A lot of people believe, we got elections coming up, that change will come from the top down. But really, change comes from the bottom up. I mean, it doesn't really,
Definitely.
And I think churches like yours bridge the gaps between people's perceived differences. Because with bad politicians do, with the force in the world that not good does, highlight small differences rather than acknowledging a commonality. And I think just like yours helps defeat that all that division is all over our society today.
So right. Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Sure.
Some of your background.
It was formed or built in 1826, because at that time the yellow fever, thousands and thousands of people were dying, and they didn't know where to bury, where to go through to to get their loved ones buried. And so they built the church. It was called the Mortuary Chapel. So all of the funerals, no matter what denomination, no matter if they had a particular faith or not, they came through there, and it was called passing through the church. And believe it or not, from our place on North Rampart to beyond Esplanade, there were carriages filled with bodies, and they would come through, have a little prayer, go out the back door, and they would go to the oldest cemetery, which is St. Louis number 1, to be buried. And then they discovered that it was coming through the mosquitoes, coming through cargo ships from the West Indies. And they were able to suppress it, with the mosquitoes that were coming. And so the church then closed. And then during the Civil War, it opened again as a sanctuary for soldiers and people to come. Then after the Civil War, it became a regular church, which it is today, with worship every day and every Sunday. Mm-hmm.
And when the people, Catholic and non-Catholic,
right.
If they're interested, where are you located?
We're at 411, corner of North Rampart and Conti, 400 North Rampart. You can't miss it, but it's right right across the street is the French Quarter.
Right across the street is the French Quarter. So, and one more time, what y'all about the concert? And
everybody's welcome, right? You don't need
everybody's welcome.
You don't need to be
free
club or whatever. You don't need
no, you don't have to join anything. It's next Sunday, April 21st, and it's at 15 minutes before the 6 o'clock mass. So it's 5:45. We're going to sing the Shades of Praise under the direction of Stitch. They're going to sing for 15 minutes, and those who would like to stay will stay for the Mass, which they're going to sing through the Mass. But it's a way of kind of continuing an Easter spirit, giving people hope and joy and all that Easter hopefully brings people. And especially, hopefully, with this weather today, it'll be like that next week. But thank you so much for having us.
And all you parents who want to bring your kids to church, if you bring them to Father Tony's church, you won't have to get them to get. They'll wake up on Sunday mornings dressed, ready to go. Amen. All right, Father Tony. Do not be a stranger. So,
okay.
do a little prayers our way also.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
All right, Father Tony. Thanks. Good to hear from Father Tony, the spiritual advisor. All things. We take it. And we take it. Father Tony's prayer. Albert, you taking Father Tony's prayer?
Always. Just I know that we have that going on at St. Catherine. Everybody's done a fantastic job. The enrollment and the parish and everything else. You gotta go out and find a place to park. I think with all the things going on in the world, spiritual movement, to get closer.
I always picture Father Tony as the priest, the guy in Rock, Rocky. So when Rocky back on Father Tony, throw down some plastic. He goes down, he goes. So, all right, let's do a break. Dr. Terry, we can always talk a little bit about how to deal with tornado and bad weather. There's a lot of information we'll get that will be helpful. We'll be right back after this break.
Hey, it's Steve Geller. Every day's busy. I get it.
All right.
Magically find
that was good.
5 hours in a day.
I like that. I love his energy, Brett.
Throughout the off season.
So I actually did some digging. I didn't realize this. I saw this on Twitter just a couple minutes ago.
If you want,
so apparently for the Pelicans season to basically be over, they have to have a lot of things happen. Okay, they have to have 2 things happen. You ready?
Psychics, home
for their year to be done, curtains closed. You're in the off season. Okay.
That's why
the Suns have to win at Minnesota, and the Pelicans have to lose back-to-back home games. Because if the Pelicans are the 4th seed, or the 7th seed, if they're the 7th seed, then their play-in game is home, and then if they win that, they're in. If they lose that, they have another home play-in game because they'd still be the higher seed whether they play the 9 or the 10 seed. So you're looking at being in the play-in is terrible, but you do have a second net, so to speak. But they'd have to lose 3 straight home games, including counting the one. That's just What happened? The Suns, Timberwolves, Pelicans lose 3 back-to-back basketball games, and it was not meant to be. But I don't think it would happen. But our home play in the series hasn't been good.
Very law firm.
We make complex issues.
Hasn't been solved.
Call us at Covington at 985-624-9696.
Or you can call me, Michelle's boss, at our area office at 504.
And you were saying earlier, I mean, the Lakers have something to play for. Pelicans, I think, have something more to play for. Like the Lakers, they want to have a high seed, yes, but at the same time, they know that they're in the play-ins and they're not going to have home court advantage for at least the first game. Maybe the second game they would. You know, if they lose, then they would have home court advantage, but you don't want to, obviously, in the play-in. So, you know, they don't have as much of a. I think they've got a motivation, sure, but not nearly as strong as one.
1-800-522-4700.
If you got to let me know. I'll probably be texting you during. You got to let me know how packed the place is. I'd be very curious to know if it's packed out.
I think it is by the price.
It's gotta be.
She tried it because I did, but when I stopped, kept using it. Now I wish we never.
That is, yikes. That's a good problem to have.
Sharing vapes and sharing it.
Learn more at BehindTheHazeLA.com.
This is my first.
The 4th annual Bourbon Raffle benefiting the Mary Bird Cancer.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can be changed.
It's happening on.
I don't know. You know what I'd be really curious about? I don't know what jerseys they're wearing tonight.
For just $20 each for a chance to win 50 plus exceptional.
I hope they wear the skeleton. That'd be really nice.
4444. Last year, we raised over $103,000. Buy your ticket today for the Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center Bourbon Raffle by texting Bourbon Raffle 24 to 414444.
If you've never thought you could afford the luxury of a Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-Benz of Covington has something for you. With unbeatable prices on our stunning selection.
According to NBA.com, the jersey they're wearing tonight is the in-season tournament one. It's the black with like the green and the purple.
Discover the
which to me is like their best jersey. It's so good.
Vehicles at Mercedes-Benz of Covington or mbofcovington.com. Affordable luxury is waiting at Mercedes-Benz of Covington.
Gold is at an all-time high.
All right, we're back in about a minute. Okay?
SCBM.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take
You're good. We're back in about a minute.
tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all.
Back in about a minute. We'll have a couple minutes here to kind of dive into some. We have
service has made it
haven't had any text callers. We've had one text actually, and it's about the Pelicans. We haven't had any callers or anything, so it's kind of fine with me because we get to talk about the tornadoes and such. And I know you and Albert have some stuff to say about that.
800-514-1026. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-514-1026 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-514-1026.
Maybe I could see another kind of mind.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nico and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line. 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Chuck Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, Weekend Warriors. All things legal. Colin, that's the Beatles. Revolver, 1966, all right?
Yes, it is.
And Earth, Wind, and Fire covered that, I think.
That's a little.
Actually, I think Earth, Wind, and Fire did a better job. It's very hard to do a better cover, but Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's tough. Yeah, it's hard to cover the Beatles and say you're better. A better job.
And look, the Angelina song. If you remember, there was Everybody Loves Raymond episode. Yeah, Everybody Loves Raymond episode where they go to the pizza parlor and there's this hot waitress there, and Ray's all nervous and everything else. Well, her name was Angelina. You know, they tied that in for the people that were true Italian and were Louis Prima fans.
Well, and Louis Prima was the biggest act in Las Vegas during the 50s and 60s. That was the act that all stars went to. And Yes, he was
He
awesome.
was awesome.
All right.
We
had a tornado out
this weekend. They had a lot of bad weather, and
they had, people got flooded, people had wind claims. Maybe we'll start talking about some of the things you do to preserve your claim. It'll be a little different dynamic. Hurricane claim, because the insurance companies won't be so overburdened with so many claims so soon. But with some of the things, if you have had damage from the weather the past week, some of the
So to give you an idea, right? We've learned a lot,
of course, and
we don't make up
a lot of times we'll get the file late in the game.
And an older couple from the Houma Thibodeau area that came to see us, hey, we need to file suit. We filed suit. Well, they said, oh yeah, we lost all of our contents. And I said, okay, so where are the photographs? We don't have any photographs. Like we just had somebody go in there and clear it all out. We said we lost the roof and everything got, and the insurance company said, you got to prove it. You can't just say, oh, I had this. I mean, show me some photographs that you had from before the storm, right? So nothing worked better than a photograph or a video of damage. It's instead of somebody sitting up on the stand or at a deposition describing the damage, if you actually have, pictures of what 1,000 words, it's absolutely true when it comes to
any kind of claim. When in doubt, photograph it, preserve it. We want the date of the photographs. Everybody's got a phone. You can get the metadata out of the phone. Photograph taken. But if you want to claim that some piece of your property, whether it was a structural piece of property or whether it was contents or any type of movable property, you want to make sure you photograph it and photograph the conditions of the property as well, because and of course leave it to the experts to get up on the roof and photograph the roof and some of the other things that you might not be so trained to see. But clearly you want to document your case, and you want to package it all up, right? So once you have it together, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but some of the best ones that we've seen that a client would do, they know their contents better than we ever would. So they would, you would get on the internet, you would list a piece of contents, mahogany dresser, and you would get online and find a mahogany dresser that's, a similar photograph. You copy that link with the price, and you paste that link into a document right next to the claim that you're making. So the claims adjuster can then say, okay, here's the photograph of the dresser that got all ruined and it's swelled up with what moisture, etc. Here's what a new one costs. And I got a picture of it right next. When you hit them or present them with that, they have virtually no reason whatsoever to deny your claim. And so once you get them that information, they're on the clock. They've got 30 days to pay it. Now, what they'll likely do is pay you a depreciated value, because even if you have replacement cost coverage on your policy, you will get paid replacement cost coverage, but you will get paid depreciated coverage first until you go back and purchase the item and you show them that you purchased it, and then they will go ahead and pay you what is called your recoverable depreciation. I understand why the insurance company does that. They want to make sure that if they're going to continue to write your coverage and cover you in the future, that you have in fact replaced those items, or you have in fact replaced the roof or replaced the siding that was damaged, because they don't want to cover a piece of property where the roof's not been fixed. So they want to make sure they pay you.
Okay, let's go to a break. We're going to have a lot. We'll probably take the next hour also, because next hour we're going to talk about the differences between a flood claim and a wind claim and a homeowner's claim. There's two different policies. There's two different procedures. There's two different set of damages, and there's a time period that's going to be very, very tight for the flood claims that we're going to emphasize so this doesn't happen. So you won't get caught without being able to file a claim. Let's go to a break. Go to break to Frank Sinatra. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life.
WWL, home of your New Orleans Saints. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone.
Yeah, this is a beefy topic. I didn't remotely think we'd get close to even finishing it, because I know we were going to dive into it a bunch.
Covington. Stop by and drive away in a new Accord today. Breaking news about the Saints.
So what do you want to try to say here? That you want to? Let me do the math on how much time we have, and then I can give you an idea of what you
Start with BetQL. Download.
Yeah, tease the next hour. We could even maybe do a read if we can.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444.
54. We're back at like almost 58, so we'd have a little bit under 2 minutes.
In the NBA and NHL, and baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to place a bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks. All on the app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/Hebert, that's HEBERG, and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Not number 2 or 3, but #1, that is FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Everyone always asks, how does Honda of Covington have such incredible repeat business? Well, according to one customer, Daniel is the reason we're on car purchase number 4. He's honest, doesn't beat around the bush, and doesn't push you into something for the sake of a sale. He continues to take care of you long after. Hey, you can be our next happy customer and lease a new 2024 Accord for just $249 a month, or a 2024 CRV for $299 a month at Honda of Covington. Come see us today. For well-qualified buyers, rate subject to change. WAC through American Honda Finance.
Finding the perfect way to say, "Will you marry me?" Hard. Finding a diamond engagement ring that will leave her speechless? Easy. Just head over to Oakwyn Hart Jewelers. Our dedicated staff will help you choose an engagement ring that is truly one of a kind. And here's the thing that surprises everyone. Oakwyn Hart's exquisite handcrafted diamond engagement rings designed by our award-winning master craftsmen can actually cost you less. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakwyn Hart on Metairie Road.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Join John as he exposes industry myths for financial truth seekers looking to navigate their retirement in the best way for them. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio. Guess what, Metairie? Same-day Botox available at Weiler Plastic Surgery Group.
You've heard it said, he's a diamond in the rough. Or maybe, diamonds are forever. Here's something else I've learned about diamonds. They're just pieces of coal put under pressure for a long, long, long time. So when I start feeling like I want to give up, I think about that little piece of coal. And if that piece of coal can make something of itself by not giving up, so can I. Persistence is in you. Pass it on. From PassItOn.com.
As an educator, Mr. Nelson's teachings are still being quoted in schools.
Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world.
Mr. Nelson taught hope.
Everyone can rise above their circumstances if they are dedicated and passionate.
And giving our best efforts.
It's always impossible until it's done.
Mr. Nelson Mandela's teachings not only united a nation, they inspire us today. Inspiration. Pass it on from PassItOn.com.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Boone. Would you know it? I've got a podcast going strong in our 4th year. Tune in as I sit down with my friends, some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, for a lot of fun and in-depth conversations. As you know, baseball's been my life. It's been in the family for a long time.
All right, I'm going to do music no region. We're back in about 10.
Like taking a ride in a golf cart around a beautiful track. Join me every week for multiple episodes on the Brett Boone Podcast, available on the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts.
In Ecuador, bought a good suit of clothes. Flew on
Hey,
up
we're
to
back.
Mexico.
That's Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. All
Standing
things legal.
by
We've got about a
the
minute and a half. Next hour, we're going to talk about, you struck if you had impacted by the weather, roofs. Whether you experienced some of the high winds. Also, if you have a flood claim, it is a totally different deal, and there's some very, very tight deadlines that we're going to talk about. And so, just stay tuned after the second hour, because a lot of people miss their flood claims because they think it's a homeowner's claim and they deal with it the same way. But those are two different policies, two different time periods.
Got about a minute.
Two different claims processes. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of the things. It'll be a little different than maybe a hurricane, because you'll probably get a lot better attention from the insurance company, because you won't have the amount of claims that they would in a hurricane. So, documenting your case will be, even more important, because there'll be a lot more scrutiny on your claims, actually.
Sure.
So,
and the lines are quite
30.
different, so that's important.
Yes. So, all right. So we'll be back for hour number 2 on all things legal. Stay tuned for national news, local news, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes on all things legal. So see you in 10.
All right, yeah, you guys are clear for a bathroom break. Grab some coffee, whatever. I was just saying you were clear to bathroom break, grab some coffee, whatever.
The News Talk Sports Leader. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Linda Kenyon. Iran's missile and drone strikes against Israel have been much cause for celebration in Tehran. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb has the story from Tel Aviv.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi praised Iran's retaliatory attack against Israel by the Revolutionary Guard Corps and said that the operation taught Israel a, quote, unforgettable lesson. Raisi said in a statement that the drone and missile attack opened what he described as a new chapter in the history of the Iranian government and fulfilled the promise of the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, to, quote, punish the aggressor.
The attacks were retaliation for Israel's earlier airstrike against Iran's consulate in Syria. Colonel Peter Lerner with the Israel Defense Force says Israel and its allies foiled Iran's attacks.
A unity of decent nations that came together against the diabolical intentions of Iran. And that resulted actually in a very good outcome, because we were able to fend off 99% of the rockets, missiles, and explosive drones that were headed our way.
Hamas has rejected a ceasefire proposal, which would have included return of some of the hostages. Israel says Hamas's leader has shown he does not want a humanitarian deal and is exploiting the tension with Iran to further escalate hostilities in the region. A new CBS News poll finds more Americans want President Biden to do more to stop the war in Gaza.
A growing number of Americans want President Biden to encourage Israel to decrease or stop military actions in Gaza. Now 6 in 10 want this, while just 33% approve of how he's handling the conflict, down from 44% in October.
Fred Backus is the CBS News manager of surveys. The poll was conducted before Iran's drone and missile attack on Israel. Senator Chris Coons is calling on Israel not to retaliate.
What I think Israel should do is pause for the moment, consult with its close allies and partners, assess the damage and the activity, and then decide what is the most appropriate response.
Senator Coons, who serves on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, was interviewed on CNN's State of the Union. Jury selection begins tomorrow in Manhattan in the so-called hush money trial of former President Trump. Political analyst Larry Sabato says this trial is a first.
We're in totally uncharted territory. There's no precedent for this, for either a sitting president or a former president who is effectively the party nominee for president again.
Trump is charged with illegally recording the hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels as a campaign transaction during his first run for the White House. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
WWL First News, I'm Ian Ozan on your official weather station, WWL. A beautiful day to close out French Quarter Fest and the Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival.
Great weather for your Sunday. Expect a mix of sunshine and clouds. A great day to be outside. Make sure you wear that sunscreen. Not too humid just yet. Feeling nice and comfortable. Warming up today with high temperatures climbing to around 80 degrees this afternoon.
WWL TV meteorologist Alexa Trischler has a full look at the forecast coming up in just a little bit. 3 men are in the hospital after an early morning shooting in Mid-City. It happened around 1:20 this morning on Tulane Avenue near South Dupre Street. No word on the victim's conditions. The causeway is open today after a crash closed it for about an hour last night. The crash happened around 6:30 on the southbound side. No word on any injuries. Time for WWL Sports. Here's Charlie Long.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. LSU Baseball had their chances in Game 2 of their weekend series with number 4 Tennessee, but they just came up flat in a 3-1 loss to the Volunteers.
This one skied in the air to shallow right field. Going back, Christian Moore, the second baseman, calls for it and has it. Tennessee will take the series with a 3-1 victory as the LSU Tigers will continue to search for their first SEC Series win on the year. They dropped the first 5 of 2024.
The Tiger bats, who struggled in clutch situations during conference play, once again had their issues. They out-hit Tennessee 9-5, but they stranded 10 base runners. The Tigers ground into 2 double plays and went 3 for 20 with runners on base and 1 of 10 with runners in scoring position. Too much pressure was put on ace Lou Coleman, who was unhittable for over 5 innings of the game, but a rally in the 6th ended up being enough for Tennessee to seal the weekend series victory. The Bayou Bengals dropped to 3-11 in SEC play. Now the Tigers will look to salvage the series this afternoon in Game 3. Catch live coverage from Knoxville at 2 p.m. here on WWL. And we've made it. The 82nd game of the NBA season has finally arrived. After a disappointing 6-game homestand, the 49-32 New Orleans Pelicans rebounded in impressive fashion, sweeping a 4-game road trip with big wins against Phoenix, Sacramento, and Golden State. And now they come home for the season finale against the 46-35 Los Angeles Lakers. But on the final day of the year, only 2 seats in the Western Conference are locked in. The Clippers and Mavericks will face off in the 4-5 matchup of the playoffs, but everything else is chaotic. OKC, Minnesota, and Denver are all tied atop the West at 56-25. The Pelicans need a victory to hold off the Suns for the 6th seed, and the Lakers are trying to secure an 8th seed in the play-in tournament. Because of that, Ali Cassell, a credentialed NBA reporter, explained that LA has a lot to play for at the Smoothie King Center, just like the Pels.
I know the Lakers definitely want to not be stuck in 10th right when the season ends. Lakers know they have to probably win in New Orleans just to at least have a chance for, like you said, 8 or 9. Because 10, we know it's impossible to get almost to the playoffs. Those games on the road and playing game situations, that's tough.
In the Wild West, the Pels can become the 6th 50-win team, securing their second 50-win season in franchise history if they come away with a victory this afternoon. And if they do, they'll avoid the dreaded play-in tournament and match up against one of OKC, Minnesota, or Denver in the first round of the 2024 NBA playoffs. Charlie Long, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Gorgeous weather for your Sunday. seeing plenty of sunshine, and it will be still comfortable outside. Really not too humid just yet. High temperatures will climb to around 80 degrees this afternoon, so it will be a warm day, but a really nice one. Heading into Monday morning, our low temperatures will be mostly in the 60s to start Monday, and early Monday we could see some patchy fog. This upcoming work week is looking pretty quiet and nice, so it will be very warm and humid with high temperatures each afternoon, climbing well into the 80s. Each day we'll see a mix of sunshine and clouds, so we'll probably have some more cloud cover moving in by the middle of the week. We could see a few stray showers Wednesday through Saturday, but overall, not expecting much. From WWL Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Alexa Trishler.
And I'm Ian Ozan, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2, Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Give us a call at 260-1870 or text us at 260-1870. Before we get into law, we've got a couple of sports texts. First of all, it says about the Pelicans. Historically, Brandon Ingram is slow coming back from injury. It usually takes him at least one game to get back in the groove. Add that to disrupting the chemistry between Zion on the inside and the three-pointers on the outside. Last but not least, the Pelicans have never matched up well against the Lakers. It could be disappointing today.
I agree with all three of those comments.
Yes. So there you go. Good analysis there. Saints question. Good morning. Do you think the Saints will utilize Taysom Hill better this year, or should they trade him? I think they better keep him.
I certainly wouldn't trade him. I mean, look, you got a guy that can do just about any, play any position on the team almost, right? Why would you ever trade him? He can step in at quarterback, and I still think they need a good, try to find that diamond in the rough quarterback that they can sit behind a car and just learn, and
get him up to speed.
Yeah, and hopefully that could be the quarterback of the future, right? But no, you don't trade Taysom Hill. And again, you utilize him as much as you can. It's almost, they forget about him here and there.
Well, I think they had a statistic that if he got a certain amount of total yards, they were won 90% of the games, or something more, more than that.
Right.
So
now
I think the thing about Clint Kubiak is he's got a lot of pedigree. His father, Gary Kubiak, was the head coach for the Houston Texans, assistant coach with the Denver Broncos, backup quarterback John Elway. I always find backup quarterbacks seem to make very, very good coaches. But it's almost like a politician who came, whose family was in politics. You just eat, breathe it, and, all your life. From the moment you're born until, you start coaching. And hopefully, we'll see. We'll just see if he's able to be a little bit more creative, incorporate, Taysom Hill and some of the things they need to do in order to deal with the offenses, or keep up with the offense of 2024, which is, far different. It's far different than the offensives that was when, Drew Brees was in his heydays around the Super Bowl time. So we'll see. I think hopefully he'll be creative enough to incorporate and fully utilize Taysom Hill's talents. One of the things about the NFL, what coaches do, I'm just getting a little bit off track, is the talent level is pretty much the same throughout the league. I mean, there are some variations at certain positions like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, but for the most part, the talent is very, very close together. There's not a big difference in talent between the worst team in the league and the best team in the league. That's why a lot of times you'll see a last place team become first place the next year. And part of what a coach does is figure out what a player does that's talented their talent, and put them in a position to use their talent to the maximum. Because a lot of times I think that's what the good coaches do, is sort of plug and play and figure out what do you do good, what do you do the best, and how can we utilize that the best. And coaches who are able to do that, are successful. So you'll see a lot of times one coach take over another team with similar talent, but they just know how to, where to put the players, how to utilize their strengths, and put them in a position to be most successful. That's what Nick Saban did, and hopefully they'll be able to do that this year. But we'll see.
Well, and the same thing holds true for motivation, right? You gotta get the players want to play for you. So if you don't have a head coach, and that makes me a little nervous about our head coach, because I don't know that they have a whole lot of faith in him. But if you have a head coach that can motivate a player to play, all these guys can play. They've been all state, all pro, all 5, right? So if it's why you get 3 points for a home field advantage in a Vegas game. It's because there's an outside motivating factor of the home fans, and so if you can channel that as a coach and get these guys to want it every play, it's like the playoffs now, right? So there's money on the line, there's advancement on the line, so all of these players are going to be motivated and play, and the great coaches get them to do it nearly every down, and certainly every game. They motivate their players to want to play and want to win.
Yeah, the difference between winning and losing is razor thin, and it's just maybe that extra competitive advantage coaching wise, that extra competitive advantage as far as effort's concerned, that extra competitive advantage of technique. The margin of error for winning and losing is so thin that every rock has to be overturned. Nothing can be left to chance. And so you could be good, but the difference between good and great is maybe 3 or 4 plays a year. So we'll see. So that's hopefully they may renegotiate with Taysom because he's got a big cap number. But oh Lord, we need him here for sure. All right, let's go to back to law. We had the bad weather roll through, and there's a difference between identifying if your damages came from flood and wind. And Albert, if you could sort of just tell us the difference on how do you determine whether your claim is a flood claim or wind claim, because if your water came from up top, but you accumulated some flood, that would be one type of policy. Whereas if you had some water coming in from the bottom up, that would be another type policy. So if you could tell us the difference between those two.
A lot of times, especially people who have mortgages on their homes, understand that they have their coverages, but they don't focus on them all the time. Because typically they don't pay the bill. The bill's paid through the escrow and the mortgage company pays, and so they just kind of forget about the difference and what those differences are. The flood program is typically administered by and run by by FEMA, or the National Flood Insurance Program, and they have certain rules and certain guidelines. You need to submit your claim on a flood claim within 60 days of the loss. And so there's a sworn proof of loss. You get online and you print it and you sign it and say, here's what my losses are, and you submit that to FEMA, and that preserves your claim. And you can always supplement it, right? But get your claim filed immediately. Whereas under your typical homeowner's claim, whether it's for hurricane, wind, flood, or not flood, but hurricane, wind, or some other occurrence, you'll have 2 years to actually file a lawsuit. So, and the difference also is the flood claims are not subject to penalties. They're not subject to attorney's fees. They typically, it's the federal government's money. It's not some insurance company that's making those decisions because it's going to affect their bottom line and their stockholders, et cetera. So we find that the flood policies and the flood payments are much more in line with what they should be than what we're seeing a lot of times in these individual insurance companies for wind claims and things like that. And the wind claim, you want to package it up, right? You want to get your ducks in a row. You want to get your estimates as quickly as you can. Again, take as many photographs. Have your licensed contractor, right? Licensed contractor write up the estimate, and also in the estimate identify what is wrong and why it is wind related. It's wind related because the shingles have lifted up, and here's some photographs of the shingles, and here's how much it's going to cost to replace. Because too often we've gotten estimates for replacement of the roof, and the insurance company's like, okay, prove to me that you need to replace the roof. And a lot of times before these folks got to us, they got some out-of-town roofing company to come, give them an estimate on the roof or even replace the roof, and they're gone. Some of them are no longer in business, etc. And so now we've got to prove that this roof needed to be replaced. And so just do yourself a favor and avoid those problems down the road if it eventually comes to litigation, because you want to make sure that your ducks are in a row and you can prove your damages in court if you need to, by virtue of not just an estimate from a contractor, but photographs and a comment from the contractor that, there were projection marks all in the siding and cracked siding. Here's some photographs. This is why we need to replace the siding. This is, the windows have big scratches in it where debris scratched the windows, or we have the seals were broken and we did a water test and water went through them, and all these kinds of things. And look, if the contractor needs a few $100 to make that report, they're not out there doing it for free. Pay them; it's worth it, because now all of a sudden, you can document your claim, and when they see those claims, they get paid first.
Right. Well, and that's a very good point. A lot of think of it this way: the insurance companies speak a language. I said, let's say, and you want to interact with them in their language, in the sense of the estimates. So a lot of times when you get like a one-page estimate from a contractor saying this is how much it's going to cost to fix 3 or 4 rooms in your home, the insurance company kicks it back and says, nope, it doesn't. It doesn't define unit cost or scope. Now, if you can, and like Albert said, it is the best investment in connection with your insurance claim. If your contractor uses the Xactimate program, pay him to do an estimate in the Xactimate program, because that's the language the insurance companies speak. And once you submit a claim in that Xactimate program, they basically have no basis to contest that they don't have enough information to evaluate your claim, and you get that 30-day period starting to run. And so I always say, a lot of times when we're doing our Hurricane Ida claims, we start them out all in Xactimate for the most part, because we're saying if our analogy is, if the insurance company is speaking Chinese, we're gonna give the estimate in Chinese to them, so that they won't have a reason not to process it. But it was, so if it's probably your best investment to have to pay actually your contractor and say, can you put it, if they use Xactimate, to please put it in Xactimate so I can submit it to the insurance company, and they'll be comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. Also, Albert, again, you want to be very sure if you're filing a flood claim, and you talked about this earlier. The time period to file a proof of loss is 60 days. So within 60 days of the flood event, which was April 11th, 10th, you have to file your damages. If you don't do that under a proof of loss, It's a form that you have to fill out that's on the internet under the NFIP flood claim, and attach your damages to it. You will not have the right to assert a claim or a supplemental claim. And the federal government, and this is the federal government's perspective of this, they're not excited about continuing to play flood claims in South Louisiana. The flood, the fund for flood claim or the retention for the flood claims by the federal government is low, and so they're going to use every technicality they can to deny your claim. It's just the way it is. We can debate about the morality of it and everything else about it, but it is what it is. And if you do not file that proof of loss for your flood claim, you will not, within 60 days, you will not be able to file a supplement or an underlying claim if you hadn't filed the claim. So be sure and do that every year, even for Hurricane Ida, prior hurricanes. People just thought that they had the same time periods and the same time limitations as the homeowners claim, and they were remiss to find out that no, you missed the deadline, and there's absolutely nothing that we can do for you. So it's just very important. And in the flood, people say, how do you determine whether it's flood damages or wind damages? If the damages come from the top down, then that's wind. If it comes from the bottom up, that's flood. That's the easiest way to describe it. Another thing about Albert, flood claims, if you had a business that was flooded and you're down for about 2 or 3 weeks, the flood policy does not have a business interruption provision, unlike business claims that would have a business interruption period if you had wind damages.
Correct. Yeah. So that's a big deal. You need to get in and get your damages fixed as quickly as possible. Again, it's this rain was unprecedented. I looked at what my WeatherBug app, and you can go hourly. And if you click on a particular hour, it'll break it all down in terms of humidity and precipitation and rainfall. And I was looking at it, and during the 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. hours, the rainfall was anywhere between 3 and 4 inches per hour. And I mean, I don't care how good your pumps are, they're not going to move that much water. And so a lot of folks flooded. Get your estimates in there as quickly as you can. Get it dried out. Again, photograph. Call your insurance agent. Get them to get an inspector over there from the insurance company to come inspect the property. Excuse me, and then get your claim moving as quickly as you can, because there's, like Doug said, there is no business interruption or loss of use or any other kind of aspect to that policy. It's strictly, we're going to pay you for your actual property damage.
Okay, let's go to a break, and after we go to a break, I'm going to get you to talk a little bit about possible roof claim or hail damage claim, and some of the things the insurance company may respond to a claim, and how do you identify those particular damages? Because when you have 70 and 80 mile an hour winds for more than 5 minutes, a lot of roofs aren't rated to withstand those type of winds. So we'll talk a little bit about that after the break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief talent moment.
God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without. God only knows what I'd be.
As New Orleans has the French Quarter, the Big 870, 105.3 FM and WWL.com.
I listen to you guys on the app. We listen on the Odyssey app. That's where I get my news. I need to know what's happening in my city.
They cover everything.
News, weather, and traffic.
Is it really?
Right on their app. When I need to know, just download that Odyssey app.
Download the Odyssey app.
Interesting. I could see that. I could very well see that being like his favorite sacrifice.
If you've received a letter from the IRS or state demanding payment for back taxes, give the pros at Go Tax Resolution a call. Our team of former IRS agents and passionate resolution specialists will get to work right away. Owing the IRS can be scary, but you don't have to do it alone. Give us a call today at 985-722-1040 and let us give you peace of mind. Or go online to gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Hi, I'm Sam with Go Tax Resolution. Some claims for the Employee Retention Tax Credit will expire this year. Now is the time to call and see if you qualify. Call Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 before they expire. The Employee Retention Tax Credit is a refund that businesses may qualify for if they maintain their employees during the pandemic. Some credits will expire this year. Contact Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
When she opens that box from Oakland Heart Jewelers, her face will say it all. But if you need to hear more, check out our glowing Google reviews. Kyle wrote, I had a custom engagement ring created at Oakland Heart, and I couldn't have been happier with the process and the final product. The ring turned out looking better than I could have possibly imagined. And Jason said, Candace is the best. She got me exactly what I wanted at a great price. Oakland Heart is definitely my new go-to jeweler. And Alexandra said, my experience at Oakland Heart was 10 out of 10. If you need more proof, remember, we were voted the city's best jeweler by the readers of Gambit magazine for the 6th year in a row. For holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, Oakland Heart is proud to be a part of all your special moments. We're also happy to be able to offer interest-free financing. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road.
Are you ready to ditch the itch this season and take your backyard back? With J&J Exterminating, getting rid of what's bugging you is what we do every day. From mosquitoes to ants to no-see-ums, J&J will make your pest go away. J&J provides mosquito one-time treatments for special occasions or misting systems that get rid of mosquitoes every day, all day long. Call J&J Exterminating, Louisiana's largest independent pest control firm with over 55 years experience.
J&J Exterminating.
Hey, this is Deuce. Your life moves fast, and Cox Internet keeps up with you. Follow your favorite baseball team and live stream games while downloading stats. It's the speed you need for everything you love to do. Add Cox Mobile for a powerful combination or fast internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. It's a seamless connection to everything that makes you, you. Learn more at Cox.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-514-1020. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-514-1026 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-514-1026.
All things legal on WWL-AMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
We're back. Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers. Bobby Darin. Boy, he was good, Colin. You know, he died young. Did you know that?
No, how old was he?
I think he was in his late 30s. He had a heart condition. So he died maybe in his 40s. He died at the peak of his career. He had this congenital heart disease. And,
So I can't listen to that song without thinking about the old Bart's by the Lake. If you ever went out there, they had $1.25 highballs and the best jukebox in the city. And you'd sit out there. The bar was like light up fluorescent lights. It was bright, and people would dance and have a blast at Bart's on the Lake. It was so much fun playing the old, the Frank Sinatra and the Bobby Darin. It was a great fun bar. It really was.
They used to sit out on the deck. You used to have the deck, right, where you could overlook the lake.
Well, yeah. So that was also Augie's Delago. That was built later on.
Was it
the
okay,
big
was
thing? It? Yeah, that was the big bar that I think eventually burned. But Bart's was it was up high. It was on the lake right there, and on that canal, and it was just a fun place.
That was the first. I've never heard of an Italian restaurant ever burning. Augie Delago. So I mean, I never heard of that before.
Well, actually, Augie was Hispanic, I believe.
Was he? Okay, it wasn't Italian.
Yeah.
All right, Mediterranean restaurant that ever some restaurant. But yes, that was good. Let's talk a little bit about roofs, because you had these high, these winds come through up to 80 miles an hour, and you may have a roof issue that you may not know about, but if you could explain the mechanism on how high winds could affect a roof and how that damage may not be immediately detectable.
All right, so let me start with saying this before we talk about the mechanics. Louisiana has implemented a fortified roof program, and we've talked earlier in other shows about what that is, but basically it's a way of nailing the sheathing and placing ice and water shield, which is kind of a thick membrane, over all of the seams in the sheathing. It's very like a higher grade roofing shingle, et cetera, et cetera. It's a matter of installation. So unfortunately, we started this program after 70% of the people in the affected areas have already gotten a new roof. But for those folks in the Slidell area that had the tornado come through, if you have roof damage, I would only put on a fortified roof. You might spend another $3,000 or $4,000 to put it on, but I've talked to my agent, and he said, I can't quote anything right now but Citizens. Nobody's writing. However, if you have a fortified roof, there are a number of companies that are writing new business. And so it will open that door for you to obtain different coverage or obtain coverage other than Citizens. And then it'll also protect your roof and give you a lower premium. And so the state has left it up to the insurance companies to write something meaningful and give a reasonable explanation as to why. My dog likes this talk. Anyway, he so you want to go get your fortified roof. You might spend a few more, but look for people that'll put them on. You have to get it inspected, et cetera, et cetera. Getting back to the roofs, if it's your traditional seal tab roof, a lot of things happen when you have sustained winds. Between each shingle is, for lack of a better word, like a tar strip. And basically, as the sun hits it, it melts that top shingle to the bottom shingle. And so when the winds blow, as that roof gets a little older, that product gets a little harder. It's not as pliable, and its effectiveness is not as strong. And so the wind blows and it kind of lifts those shingles. And as it lifts your shingles, debris gets underneath it, dirt gets underneath it, et cetera. And that process makes that little strip even less effective. And so, now you're subjected to even moderate winds that will lift that roof, or those roof shingles. And I'm not saying tearing them off. I'm just saying lifting them enough to where they're not kind of heat sealed down. And that's one of the main problems that people have, and one of the reasons why a roof needs to be replaced. So if you can get a roofer to go up there and just hand lift a lot of those shingles, take photographs in different areas of the roof showing that, hey, look, the roof's been compromised. You will likely get paid for your roof. Same thing in the gutters, right? So there are these granules that sit into again, the tar, whatever product is, the fiberglass that hold that roof, that a part of the composite of that shingle. And those granules in a storm, as those shingles move, will loosen, and the rainwater will roll them down into the gutter. So if you can get your roofer to perhaps take a photograph, maybe, run his finger through the granules sitting in the gutter to show how deep they are. With the granules, it's going to show that the life expectancy and the effectiveness of the roof has also been compromised. And again, a good roofer will get in the attic, right? He'll walk through the attic and look for staining and look for water penetration here and there, and take some photographs of that. So if you're going to get a true roof inspection, make sure all of those things occur. Especially in areas where you might have a vent stack or a whirlybird up there or some other penetration where that's much more vulnerable. And as the wind comes across a flat surface, if something's sticking up, the wind is going to be stronger and push that element that's sticking up, whether it's a roof jack or some kind of heater vent or whatever the case may be. And so that may lift and compromise that area and cause a leak. Leaks around chimneys. Quite often they're just not flashed enough, or if the wind's strong enough, it can kind of move that chimney a little bit to penetrate, to compromise the flashing around the chimney. And all of that's going to need to be inspected. So find a roofer that knows what they're doing, that can inspect your roof, and really give you a good estimate and a good evaluation as to the damages caused by the storm and why the roof needs to be replaced, not just that it's 30 years old.
Okay. I'll tell you what, we have Sharon on the line, but let's go to a break first. She's got a question regarding airship and some property. So let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Uptown got its hustlers, Bowery got its bums.
WWL, home of the LSU Fighting Tigers.
Son of a gun. That was the right call.
Free Odyssey app.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Ready for the biggest ever Jazz Fest?
Really?
Batiste, The Killers, the Robert Cray Band, Heart, Rebirth Brass Band, and more. Don't you want to go?
I met him in a sale in New Orleans.
Listen weekdays for the Jazz Fest password of the day. Then go to WWL.com and register to win.
Ooh, Barracuda.
A pair of tickets to the first weekend of Jazz Fest, plus round-trip Jazz Fest Express shuttle passes. Happy festing from Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time and WWL.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify.
Got it.
Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call
Got
the
it.
Community Tax Helpline at 800-514-1020. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-514-1026 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-514-1026.
It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL, and baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to place a bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks. All on the app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/Hebert, that's HEBERT, and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Not number 2 or 3, but #1, that is FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permanent parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
At Mercedes-Benz of Covington, we're ready to ignite your passion for driving again with the adrenaline-fueled Mercedes-Benz AMG. With an AMG, every journey becomes a thrilling adventure. Our performance-driven vehicles are engineered to dominate every curve and turn heads along the way. Experience the epitome of style and performance yourself. Test drive the power and precision of an AMG. Available now here at Mercedes-Benz of Covington. Take advantage of our incredible lease and finance options you'll get at Mercedes-Benz of Covington. Unleash luxury at Mercedes-Benz of Covington or mbofcovington.com.
At Besselman Wealth Planners, we've been focused on the future for 50 years. 50 years of sound financial advice and a wealth of experience for today, tomorrow, and beyond. Besselman Wealth Planners, 50 years of investing in you.
BesselmanWP.com, 754 Papworth in Metairie. Securities and advisory services offered through FSC Securities Corp. Member FINRA SIPC. Besselman Wealth Planners and FSC are unaffiliated.
Diamonds Direct Spring Sale is here. Shop now and get an extra 20% off Diamonds Direct's renowned prices. It's the best sale of the season. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. That's 20% off plus $100 off store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, engagement rings, and more. And enjoy an expanded selection with designer appearances each weekend. 20% off now to April 21st and open Sundays. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Do you have shoeboxes full of photos? Today only, radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, LegacyBox also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Baseball is back, basketball is heating up, and the NFL Draft is right around the corner. Listen to the latest on the teams you love with the free Odyssey app. The biggest sports radio stations in the country, providing unrivaled local coverage of their teams, all in one place. Exclusive interviews with players, coaches, and team executives.
All right, come back.
Live and always available on demand. Stay in the know with your favorite teams with Odyssey. AUDACY. Download the free Odyssey app today.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nico and Sunseri.
Give it a second after the rejoin ends, because it'll be good.
Solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Who's in life? Someone sneaking.
Give it a second.
Around the corner.
Here it is.
Is there someone back tonight?
There you go.
From a tugboat.
Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, here again, lawyers, all things legal. You know,
That was another song.
when I was a teenager, I had an uncle, Italian uncle, Sicilian uncle, who drove back and forth from San Francisco to Lake Tahoe. He'd take us to the casino, and he had his little Cadillac going through the mountains. He had an 8-track tape of Mac the Knife sung by 15 different artists that just moved the entire ride there. So that's one song.
Did you go to the casino?
Yeah.
Did you go to the casino with him?
That was the first daycare I've ever went to. Was at Caesar's Casino in Lake Tahoe. I was maybe about 8 years old. They dropped me off for the better part of the day, and so I was indoctrinated since. He gave me a casino table when I was 12 as a birthday present to scam the neighborhood. Let's see. Oh, let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Sharon. She's got a question regarding airship. Hey, Sharon, what you have for us?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for taking my call this morning. I have a little problem here. I have some my family on a piece of property owned by my grandparents. It was a home that was on it, but it's in disrepair now. It's just gone down. We need to raise the property or sell the property or do something with it because it's awful in the neighborhood. We have been talking about having it raised and having someone come out and tear everything down. But everybody is not in accordance with it.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if me personally, if I would have it raised, when we settle the property or sell it down the line, would I be able to demand my money back for what I paid to have the property raised when it needed to be?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Have you been placed in possession of the property? In other words, was succession done?
Yes, yes.
Who do you own the property with?
With cousins.
How many?
3 different groups of cousins. So it was divided by a quarter because there were 4 original kids, and then the rest are cousins. And when I get into that, that's probably it's going to be
how much is property worth? How much is property worth?
You know, that was another thing I had been trying to find out how much it was worth, and I have not been able to do that because I think that's because I was going to have to spend some funds in order to get our appraisal done.
Well,
right.
And I guess one of the things theoretically, I'm not a big fan of putting money into a state property before you sell it, because a lot of times the amount of money you put into it, you never get back out of it. Most people, if they're going to buy something, they'll buy it as is and let them deal with the demolition, let them deal with whatever you need to deal with. So I would look at that issue, but theoretically, what you'd have to do is you'd have to file a lawsuit. Or okay, let me ask you: are all the cousins, would they all be on board and just putting the property up for sale?
No, that's the problem.
Why wouldn't they?
They just want to hold on to it because of sentimental reasons, and also because they think that it's a good deal to own some property, be a property owner.
To own property that's non-productive, that costs insurance, property taxes, and poses a liability. Yes, I understand that there's a disconnect.
Right.
But
let me ask you, what you want to try to do is get an appraisal, or if you can get they got something called a drive-by appraisal, right? Where nobody's going to go into the house, nobody's going to look at it. They're just going to probably evaluate it at land or lot value, depending on the condition of disrepair that the property's in, and get you a value, have the written up. It might be $200 or $300, and then what you can do is say, look, here's what everybody's ownership percentage is. Okay, how about if I start buying people out? Right? You want out of this. Otherwise, here's how much the insurance is on the property. Here's how much the property taxes are every year. Here's how much it is to cut the grass every year. Everybody needs to start chipping in and paying back for these last however many years. If you don't want to do it, then I'll buy your property out at, let's say 10% less than what this value is, and start picking them off one at a time. And then once you have a majority ownership, then you can either partition to sell the property, or, move to buy out your other heirs, or narrow down the number of people that need to make decisions in terms of moving forward with trying to maybe renovate the property and put it in commerce. The problem with it is, and as sentimental as it is, and it's nice to own property, etc., like Doug was saying, you need a property manager. Who's going to run it? Who's going to collect the rents? Who's going to call the plumber when the toilet is stopped up? All these little things, and one person could end up it sounds like it's you, but one person can end up doing all these things, and everybody else, sitting around in their butts just collecting some money for doing nothing but complaining. So, one thing you can do is what we call the nuclear option, is say, look, I don't want to be in ownership with y'all anymore. Love you, everything's great, but we want to file a lawsuit it's not a law, it's a petition to partition the property, meaning we're going to ask the court to turn around and sell this property on the open market, get what we can get for it, and everybody, after paying this, all of the fees, etc., everybody's going to get what their percentage is, and we go our merry way. But I'm a little tired of handling all this, and you guys, it's sentimental. I want to hold on to the property, but I don't want to pay anything. I don't want to put out any effort. That gets tiresome.
So,
okay.
Give us a call at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304. And we could probably give you a little more depth to what you can do. But basically, when you have co-ownership like that, it happens a lot, and we're actually doing a lot of petitions for partition, because people own property involuntarily and they won't be reasonable as far as wanting to sell it or be bought out or buy out. So thanks for the call. Let's go to our final break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL, home of your Saints and LSU.
Good.
Live on the free Odyssey app.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone.
You thinking about what to end with?
The Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Tommy Tucker.
Well, okay, so next week, let's see. I know that we have one more week and then draft stuff. I know that next Sunday we're probably gonna do, or not next Sunday, the Sunday after we're probably gonna do an absolute ton of NFL films, music, and Saints music.
Attorney spokesperson Chad Dudley.
Rocky, really?
Oh, honey, it's our favorite.
I don't hate that.
Pro Matt, come in.
Let me do it.
Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner.
No, Rocky kind of works.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing? That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/sports to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard. Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/sports and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Oh, yeah, this is going to work.
Safety and reliability. That's what you get with a Honda. And that's what you get at Honda of Covington. At Honda of Covington, our team will help you find the car that fits not only your style, but your budget as well. Right now, lease a new 2024 Accord for just $249 a month or a 2024 CR-V for $299 a month. When you're ready to upgrade to the safety, style, and reliability of a new Honda, visit us at Honda of Covington today. We can't wait to see you. For well-qualified buyers, rates subject to change. WAC through America Honda Finance.
You can fall in love at first sight, but a natural diamond? Well, that takes Mother Nature millions of years to create. Take a few minutes to see the timeless beauty of our diamond fashion and stud earrings at Oakland Heart Jewelers. Natural diamond earrings from Oakland Heart have a fire and brilliance second to none. Each diamond is personally chosen by a member of the Oakland Heart family. We buy direct, which means we can offer them to you for less. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 121-12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Call 475-2323.
Rejuvenate Medical, now open in D'Iberville, Mississippi. RejuveneMedical.com.
Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. GlowResources.com.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. If it's not life-changing,
Almost.
it's free.
Yeah, exactly
Download the
2,
app
give or take a
or connect with
little,
us at
right around there.
CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychic.
One thing we didn't mention, I don't know if we did, I don't know if we did or not, but did we mention
I'm Chuck McDowell.
the last time we had a show? Was it
original
this week? Did we
cancellation
mention the?
And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out.
Did we mention the Yukon repeat and everything like that?
A timeshare exit information kit.
It's. Do we need to?
Industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call West.
All right, no music or rejoin. No music. Take it away.
790-1400. 800-790-1400.
All right, we're back. That's for Zion. Get him psyched up to play a little defense today.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm going to have to go make sure that I'm eating my crawfish and crabs and everything inside by a television because I don't want to miss any of this game. I know you're going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's it.
Like you said, a big playoff atmosphere.
All right. Thank Colin, who does a bang-up job. I was telling Emil Goche, my former account exec at WWL, man, I got the best board operator around. So, Colin, let me know when you get your raise.
I will.
I'm going to use my substantial influence around WWL and Odyssey.
You can have our raise from next year.
Yeah,
we'll donate it to you.
There. We got about 45 seconds. Albert, anything before we sign off?
No, again, just those folks, if you're getting a new roof, get a fortified roof. It's going to cost you a few $1,000 more, but let me tell you, it will be well worth it in insurance premium savings and just having to deal with it. If you seal your roof, 80% of the damages that occur will occur because there was some penetration in the roof. So if it can protect you from that, it's well worth the investment. You got to get it inspected. You got to go through the program through the Louisiana Department of Insurance.
15.
To check out the information.
All right, so we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. You have a great week, and go Pels. Go Pels. See you next week.